So imagine this. You're on Redfin scrolling and you see a home that is just beautiful, magnificent, a home that almost seems too good to be true, right within your budget. And why is it so low for this area? It looks so nice. You think it's too good to be true, and guess what? It probably is. I'm talking to you today about scammers. And yes, I know what you're thinking. Amber, where is this coming from? I have to tell you, even I have fallen victim to a scam before. I think of myself as a person that's like, no, that would never happen to me. Oh my gosh, I know way too much. If somebody catches you at the right moment, you could fall victim too. So I was super reluctant to tell my story because, quite frankly, I was embarrassed. And you can learn from my mistakes too, and I'm not too proud to share them. So when I was first launching my Airbnb business, I did a lot of stuff on my own, a lot of work by hand. I was a little frantic, I was short on time, I was commuting a lot of hours to get back and forth to my property, and I was also working at the same time. I was under stress. Opportunity for a scammer. Stress. When you're under a time constraint, when you're under stress, you're not able to really evaluate very well. So under all this stress, I said, oh my gosh, I need help. I'm gonna do one thing for me with this Airbnb. I've done water damage repair, I've done this, I've done that, all to get this place off the ground. Now I just need something for me. I'm gonna get a mural painted in the backyard, right? Is it necessary? No, but is it better than a brown brick wall? Yes. And did it speak to my creative side? Absolutely. So I sought out to get it done. When I sought out to get this beautiful project done, I had a concept in mind. And you know what I'm gonna do? And I know this is sketch, so I already know. I hear it in the comments already. I went to Craigslist, which I have done before and ended up on top of the world, by the way. I went to Craigslist, posted my ad, said what I was looking for, talked about my budget, and basically put it all out there like, take it or leave it world, we'll see what we get. I got a few inquiries and I got a few artists cussing me out because my budget was so low, and I didn't think they would take the time to do that. But it's like, you don't have to take the job. Like, what do you mean? I got some people that were just starting out in the art game legitimately interested, and I had a couple phone calls with a few of them. Ultimately, there was one that stood out to me. I was not crazy about their work. They were sending me drafts, sketches, paint samples, you name it. Over time, we had multiple conversations over the course of, I'm telling you, over a month. We were talking, texting back and forth, phone calls, just kind of talking about the details of this mural, how it's gonna work, right? After multiple iterations of redoing the design, we finally had a template that, you know, we agreed can work, right? So then it came time to get some materials to do the job. You could probably guess where this is going. So I offered to get the materials myself, and they were like, you really don't have to. I work with a paint vendor, you know, they actually give like wholesale pricing, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, well then you get the stuff, show me the receipt, and then I'll reimburse you. Keeping in mind, I'm still kind of on edge. I'm like, I don't know this person very well. Like, I'm not gonna like just send them money, like, yeah, go get the materials, right? Because I am so smart. I'm in sweatpants painting walls at this point. I am just kind of frantic. So I really don't pay for stuff up front. Like, you want to just let me know another time where like we can go see this vendor together. So instead I was like, okay, how about this? I'll just send you half of the material deposit, and you know, that way it's a show of good faith. You know I'm serious and you have something to put towards the materials. And he's like, yeah, you can Cash App it to me. That's fine. I can do that. And I'm like, I don't do Cash App. We can do Venmo. And I did Venmo because I know that you could actually secure that transaction saying it's a purchase, right? And check that little box before you send off the money. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Basically saying, hey, I'm buying from somebody. If this goes wrong, make sure I get my money back. I send off this deposit via Venmo. And granted, it wasn't like a whole lot of money, but it doesn't really change the outcome. It still kind of hurts, right? When it goes south, and yes, that's exactly what happened. I sent off the money and it was pending forever, which is fine for me. I click that box where it's like, this is a purchase, right, from a vendor. I look at this transaction and it's not registered that it's a purchase. And I noticed it immediately. So I freak out immediately. And I was like, oh my gosh, I sent this money to a person I don't really know. My screen froze. I send Venmo a whole narrative like, hey, I checked the box. My purchase is guaranteed, right? They said, unfortunately, there's no way after you send the money to verify it as a purchase. To which I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm a little nervous about this. But luckily the person didn't ghost me. So I was reassured this is absolutely not a scam. They're still in communication. We set a day the next day to kind of meet up and look over materials, fun. The next day comes, they're late, they're stuck in traffic. Okay, at this point I'm like, antennas are all the way up. And then I call, they text back, like, okay, now they're not picking up the phone. And then I see the writing on the wall here. They were stalling the whole time because the transaction was pending. Once it was finalized, I never heard from them again. I just messaged them saying, you know what, you do this often and it'll come around to you. And that was it. But I felt so distraught, y'all. Like, I was feeling insulted. I was feeling like, how could I even fall for this? This is not even me. It really forced me to evaluate when I'm making a big decision, starting a business, buying a home, who do you lean on for those decisions? Because when you're in your frantic, stressed state, you don't make the best choices. And knowing what that feels like, I feel like it puts me in a unique position to help other people, because this is like the biggest investment of your life. Like, what do you mean? Like, this is a lot of money. Like, how do I make sure that I'm making the right choice, that I'm not too in my head about the choice, that I'm thinking logically, that I'm relying on the right people? You know what? That's what I decided to do with real estate. I'm like, I got fooled once. I don't want other people to get fooled. I took a risk. Ultimately, mine paid off, even with the small loss. But it still hurts when somebody takes advantage, right? And your sensibilities, like your pride, your money. I will make sure that doesn't happen to anybody. You want to know the irony about how this whole mural thing ended? I actually got it done with a different artist on Craigslist, and it turned out beautiful. It just goes to show that it's really hard to determine sometimes, if you're in the wrong mindset, the real from the fake. So have a trusted friend with you if you are frantically building a business and doing major construction work, which you're looking up on YouTube every other hour. Make sure you have some support and another brain that's maybe not under stress that can kind of help you navigate that situation. I know I had a lot of support, but some days I did, some weekends I did, some days I didn't, right? This was definitely one of those didn't days. Don't be like me, ask for support, get your people involved, tell them what you're thinking. Let them tell you, hey, you're crazy, and then ask them, hey, will you stay with me when I meet this person? You know what to do. It's just sometimes when we're under stress, we don't do it, right? So make sure you have someone with you who's able to properly evaluate the situation. And better yet, if you're starting a business like Airbnb or really any real estate business and you're trying to save money, my unconventional advice is don't try to save money.
Okay, wow, all right.
Try to save your sanity, try to save your time, try to save your peace, right? There's things that matter more than money, and your safety, your peace matters so much more. So it worked out for me in the end, but don't go through what I went through, people. It is not worth the hassle.